Hello, guys. Welcome to PBJJF Podcast. Today we're here with Amanda Riggs, and I know the Brazilian community call her Higgs. So we're just
I
chatting
just
about
asked
it.
this,
And so, guys, it'll be a great episode. Thank you guys for joining us today. I think Amanda is one of the active competitors, high level competitors from the East Coast. You know, she's representing the DMV around the world, and it'll be a great conversation. We're gonna be on talking about jiu-jitsu, non-jiu-jitsu stuff related, and that's how we like to do. You know, it's like a conversation. And so, guys, I just want to give a quick shout out to. Before that, hey, if you are not competing, PBJJF, you're missing out. Come on, you're missing out the big time. Hey, if you want to be one of the best in the world, you gotta come and compete PBJJF. This year we're doing PBJJF Pan American Championship on June 24th and Worlds on October 21st. Don't miss it. And in the meantime, we also have the opens that we do. So just go to pbjjf.smoothcomp.com and you're gonna see the closest event to you. And you also have a QR code where if you're watching the TV, you can scan the QR code right there. I hope I'm right.
glitter on top of Amanda
Yeah, on
head.
top of Amanda's head. So go there and right there, you got it. And register for your first tournament. You know, like compete first, second, 10th. We also have the ranking where you guys can be the top players in your division. Rank is divided by belt and age as well, masters, adults, kids. So make sure you guys go there and sign up now. Also, we're running a giveaway on Instagram. If you guys go to our Instagram, you just gotta click on the post, tag two or more people. More people you tag, more
More
chance for you
chance
to
to
win.
win.
So go tag everybody, tell them to like, follow PBJJF, follow Brave on Instagram, follow me and Max, JP Ferreira and Max Gimenis.
BJJ.
And so you guys follow us and tag your friends. You're gonna be probably receiving a nicest gift ever. Wait for the new dropout, guys, coming soon. And just a quick shout out for Brave Kimonos.
Brave Kimonos. Shout out for Brave Kimonos. Thank you for all the support. If you want to get some discount, use our code PBJJF for 10% off. Brave has the best gears. It's really good geese, good material, and looking good. I have this on to myself. If I look good, I fight good.
That's the way to do it. You gotta be comfortable and you gotta look sharp. You know, people respect you more when you look sharp. And with Brave, you definitely on it.
And also shout out for Roll Live who support us already to help you with the setup for the podcast. They do like a live stream on the tournaments. Every tournaments we do, we have live streams, on the YouTube. It's still free, guys. Enjoy that. I don't know, like the CEO told them maybe they will start to charging soon, and also Roll Live will start to do the courses now, the instructions course too. Keep your eyes open to the future events.
That's right. And
All right.
that's it, guys. Let's start. So yeah, I mean that if you give you as a quick introduction about yourself, how you start jiu-jitsu, and we move on. We go on that.
Yeah, thank you. Start off by saying thanks to the sponsors for, making this possible. And thank you guys for inviting me. Super excited.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've been neighbors here in Maryland. Let's see. I'm originally from New Mexico, and I ended up on the East Coast for grad school. In my 20s, I lived abroad, worked abroad, and then moved back here. And I actually didn't get into jiu-jitsu till my early 30s. And I was just looking for a workout. I just was like, I need to be more healthy, and started come just like 1, 2, 3 days a week. And then, of course, I got hooked. I did my first tournament. I won my first tournament. and I was hooked after that. Never looked back, and I've been training 5-6 days a week ever since.
Nice.
Yeah, always here in Maryland. I started out, I lived in DC at the time. I started at a different school, and then I moved to Crazy 88 in Elk Ridge probably about 8 years ago. I've been training 10 years as of last month, and just got my black
Congrats.
belt. Thank you.
Congrats. Yeah.
Just got my black
Big
belt
deal.
last December. I made it. We made it here. It's a long road, but like super happy that I got here.
But
and-
that moment coming. Feel like a way to take your time. You know, it's different for each person. But like you said, like for you, it takes 10 years. And that's awesome. You know, for some people, it takes 12. For some, 6. But the end is same for everyone who's don't give up on that journey. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
Oh, for sure. And anyone can look back and be like, this was my journey. This was my path. This is what I experienced, but it's mine. So, yeah, I mean, I'm still very active, you know, definitely getting my black belt spurred the competition bug more in me. And first tournament, did 2 matches, 0-0 each, and lost both refs' decision. I was like, okay, what do I got to do to level up? And that's what
the
you do
way,
at every
that's the way.
single belt, every new challenge. You got to just keep, you know, putting the pieces down and trying to level up. So,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Talk
And
about
by the way,
talk about New Mexico before
New
one
Me-
second, man. I fought to New Mexico one time. I almost died. I think I'm in a good corridor. I get there, man. 2 minutes, I can't breathe. I'm like, oh my god, what happened? That's crazy.
Yeah.
How the altitude, you know, like makes a lot of difference.
the altitude is crazy. I will go back and train with some friends out there, and first couple days I'm dying at. Just like I barely finished the rounds, but usually by the end of the week I've acclimated to
No,
it.
and
So
like my friend told me that Max, get that like couple days before, you know, do a running, get some rounds in the gym. I'm like, okay, it's not gonna be that different. I get 1 day or get there, did a little bit run. I feel different, but not too bad. Get in the gym, threw a little bit on, man, the Gracie Barra. On the Tusa Gracie Barra.
where I
Yeah,
started.
I stopped by there. Did a couple rounds. I feel different, but not that bad, you know. Like Josh drill, maybe did it 4 or 3 rounds. Like man, it's hard. Albuquerque, yeah, hard to breathe, but it's not crazy. On the tournament, thanks God, it's only one fight. It's a super fight, you know, and that's like after 2 minutes, definitely. After 2 minutes, my breath is like so heavy, my arms done away. I'm like, oh my God, man, that's great.
yeah, if you haven't trained out there or anywhere like in the Rockies, anything that's high altitude, it's definitely a shocker, but worth it. So
Hey, about New Mexico, what do we have in New Mexico? I never been New Mexico, so
yeah.
what you tell me about New Mexico? How would you sell New Mexico to me?
Well, I wouldn't watch the TV show Breaking Bad, but for those who love it, it's not all like drugs. A lot of desert. It's really beautiful. Has great food. Like I really miss the food. Green chili, all the spices, red chili. Like I
You like
love-
spicy food?
Oh, I do. And there's
That's the second person this week
Yeah.
talk about spice food
Really?
here.
Yeah, they have all these native New Mexican chili peppers, and you can eat them whole, you can eat them dried and flavored, and I always bring back tons of, and I give them as gifts, you know, because like it's very unique. You can only get them there.
Is it
So
heavy, strong?
and you can get them. You can get mild or hot. I like hot, but like if I haven't had it in a while, I have to go mild. So
I have a
which is,
feeling if
very
you like
good.
spicy, you're crazy. Come on.
Well,
I have
I'll get you
students,
some.
they
I'll
talk
get you
about
some really mild stuff. It's still like super flavorful.
No,
just, like, unique.
one day I had a buffalo chicken. I was like, no, JP, it's buffalo chicken. It's fine. A wrap, buffalo chicken wrap. It's cool.
No, but like
That was
I
too spicy for you.
crazy spice. I was coughing.
no, but for GP everything is crazy spice.
Okay,
It's
so
like
like a real
sensitive
mild.
for the
Yeah.
for the spicy
Big
food.
spice.
Yeah.
But we're talking about this a little bit earlier this week. Maybe we should do like actually Saida gave us the
Yes,
Oh,
Said is
she's
the,
from New
Said-
Mexico as well. Yeah,
she's
yeah,
from
yeah.
New
Yeah.
Mexico.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
she gave us the idea, I think after the podcast. Hey, if you guys get some spice food and gives to the interviewers or yourself to start talking, you know,
Yeah, but like
during
you should,
some
no, you should
time.
talk about like
And
maybe we do it on the like on the mat and ask whatever any guest give a spice food and they need
And
to
teach a
show a
technique.
technique after that. You know what I mean? That's like it'll be funny.
would you watch it?
Yeah, that would be
It'll be
hilarious.
funny.
We should do something like there's a good idea from her. So shout out to
Nice.
Saida.
Shout out Saida.
Yeah.
But like keep going about you know, the spice food. I'm sorry, we're gonna be cutting all the time. That's
Okay.
how we do it. Sorry.
New Mexico. See, I haven't been back to train in a little while. I hope to go visit my dad. My dad's still out there. And yeah, I mean, I do, if I can, and when I travel, I like to go visit other gyms. Like I used to work in Chicago and I would always go out, and visit like all the girls who train out there. Like with Annette Stacks, girls.
0 Brazil 021.
Yeah, and all those girls were coming up, so I used to.
She's in Brazil now, so she
Yeah.
did like couple MMA fights too. That's cool.
But in New Mexico, I'll go train with Gracie
Tusa.
Baja, and then like Barata and
Barato, that's right.
his wife, and then they've got a big group of girls. So like, girls are awesome to go train out there. And then like I've been doing it now for several years, so like you see the progression of all the girls there, and they see your progression, and it's great to keep like going back to the same places.
How's the jiu-jitsu scene in the Arizona or New Mexico? I'm
New
sorry,
Mexico.
and like New Mexico and Arizona, it's a close, right? Like, I was looking the map.
Yeah.
So how's in that area? It's kind of like a similar area, right?
Yeah, similar desert. I don't know what it's like in Arizona. I know New Mexico has started off with Gracie Baja, but now they've expanded. They've have a bunch of gyms out there. And you know, I always see them at Masters Worlds, at the Worlds. You know, they're always competing. So
Is it growing the jiu-jitsu there as well?
I think so. I mean, I feel like more and more schools and different types of schools, and like Barata just opened his own gym, and I saw a bunch of like One Jiu-Jitsu. Where was I? In Dallas, and so yeah, they were traveling around competing.
It's good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, now we see more like Texas and California, right? Like the spotlights for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Hope somebody goes and do the same in New Mexico as well. You know,
Yeah.
like similar what we're doing here, so they can build and grow jiu-jitsu in their area as well. Because we see Maryland, right? How's the jiu-jitsu when you got into Maryland? You start training to now. What is the difference for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's been a growth everywhere, and Maryland always had a bunch of schools, a bunch of jiu-jitsu, and it feels like now there's just even more schools. But then there's more interest. You know, I'll have coworkers ask me like they want to get their kids into jiu-jitsu. You know, masters people 30 plus, they're like, oh, maybe I should try jiu-jitsu, or they start 30s or 40s. Like it's growing interest all around. You know, UFC definitely.
Pushing these a lot too.
Yeah, because I think when I started, like it was like the end of Gina Carano, the start of Ronda Rousey. Like that's where I was. Those were kind of my influences. I first was like, oh, I'll do MMA, and I think that lasted 6 months, and you know, didn't continue down that path and continued with jiu-jitsu. And Ronda Rousey brought a lot of interest, and then just after that, UFC grew, and like women's UFC, and that definitely brought a lot of interest to jiu-jitsu. And now I feel like jiu-jitsu is mainstream. Everyone's heard of it. Their kids have heard of it. That was very different from when I started. You know, I remember telling people like, "Oh, I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu," and they're like, "What is that?"
What
I'm
is
like,
that?
"Yeah, it's some small, obscure, fringe sport." You know, and now everyone's like,
Everyone
"It's not
knows
in
about
the Olympics," you know, because everyone's heard of it.
We
So
hope not, right?
I
Because,
hope not.
yeah, it doesn't. Jiu-jitsu people don't seem to want it. In the
Do you know
Olympics.
why? For me, is because then you're gonna give the power to the politicians. Do you
Yeah.
trust the politicians to run jiu-jitsu?
I don't.
That's what I've heard. Is like it'll
You know,
it'll change how jiu-jitsu is.
And the
Right
prob-
now, it's yeah.
and the problem is like when they start running, they don't allow competition. You have to follow their way. Like
No.
if you don't like PBJJF, don't go to PBJJF.
Go
if
for
you don't
another
like this school, don't go to that school. If you don't like this system, go to another system. You kind of have the freedom to see what is out there for you and how do you like it, you know. Like we chat about this all the time.
But
like, hey,
we see like the other sports like judo is on Olympics. You don't see that much competition around. You don't see that much schools. Do you know what I mean? Wesley, same thing. Wesley, you get like the clubs, but it's more on a school, on a high schools too. And after we get some age, if you're not going to the Olympics, you're done, because it's not competition, not professional outside here. You know what I mean? It's like the
Yeah.
percentage of people who get on that level is like so low, so low. I don't know, maybe 1% get on the Olympics level, like real professional on wrestling or judo. Out there, you go practice a little bit, but when you get like old enough to don't be on a college or don't fight on a college or don't fight professional, you stop. You're done. That's
Yeah.
hard.
And I would say that's the biggest difference from like wrestling or judo. Like you're either on that high competitive track or you do it in college, and then after that, people kind of drop off. And then we get them in jujitsu.
We get there. That's
Yeah.
true. We get a lot of people from wrestling, judo, or jiu-jitsu. That's good. But because we have a lot of other tournaments, we have schools around. We can, and there's no limit for the age. We can have like 70 years old sign up in a tournament, go there and fight with somebody on your age, on your weight. You know,
Yeah.
that's
for
it
sure.
was make fair. It's not just for the elite. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. All ages.
For the hobbies can test himself in a competition too, you know, or events really good for like kids and like hobbies for everyone, you know. But we split that so good on the levels, you know, to be fair to everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, entire families train now. You know, their kids, the parents. That's such a cool thing. So
What do people on your family talk about when you say like, well, I start jiu-jitsu, I start that? What they say?
my
Back in the day, not now, no, 10 years ago.
they always knew me as a competitive person, so they're like, "Oh, cool," you know. And I think when I really got into it and I'd like go visit family and I still wanted to go train, they'd be like, "What?" They didn't understand that part in the beginning, but they're like super supportive of it, you know. And
Nice.
they're like, "Yeah, we know you're gonna, maybe miss a family holiday and then go compete," and like they understand that. Or want to go check out the gyms when I go see them. So but yeah, then they'll come out. Like my brother lives in New York, and every New York Open, he'd come
Me
visit
come
me.
to visit.
Yeah, I know.
For don't have anymore now.
I know.
We
We need to get some tournaments.
PBJJF New York Open. We're going to New
We
Jersey
go for New
already,
Jersey on
Boston,
Yeah,
and
New
we're
Jersey
gonna get
has,
to New
has
York.
good matches. Like we love competing up
July
there.
15, July 15, right?
July 15th, New Jersey.
New
July
Jersey. It's in
15th.
July.
July. There's so
Go-
many.
Hey, QR code here on the
Check
TV,
it
and
out,
you
check
can
it
check
out
it out
right
the events on the website.
But like we wanna bring it back because like
It's too much
we're-
school.
we're-
Too
we're
much.
in a
Like,
tournament, you know.
I mean, yeah, and I remember.
22nd, July
July
22nd,
22nd, New Jersey.
New Jersey. You know,
And by the way, hey, I wanna see you there.
This was in
PBJJF in
June, right?
24th.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
24th.
P-
And one thing we're
PBJJF,
doing different.
Pan Am's champ.
I'd say that every podcast, but I think is really important. Normally, the black belt's gonna end the day. On this event, will be in the first one. We go push the black belts on the early in the day, because most of the time, it's not everyone, but most then coach too has schools to run or some students
help the
or
kid.
helping the kids or whatever. They need to coach people on the tournament to coach his students. And when you coach your students all day and go fight end of the day, you're not focused anymore. You know what I mean? It's better to put the black belts in the early time on the first group. When the black belt's done, we start running kids and the rest of the students, the competitors. You know, I
Nice.
think that's gonna be a different thing too
Nice.
on this event too.
That's the way.
Awesome.
And so going back, right? The tournaments are not as. I don't think there's many tournaments, coming to the east, northeast, right? Northeast, Florida is still. So how do you see the competition scene in this area?
I mean, it's super competitive. As I said, like, a lot of times I've been on the podium, there's been other girls from Maryland. So yeah, there's always like good girls out here. You know, a bunch of people from my school. You know, I think our juvenile program is so good, and you know they're hitting the medal podiums. Yeah, tons of jiu-jitsu in Maryland, which is awesome. Yeah, you can always like go and compete, and you'll get competitive matches. It's not like you know yeah, it's super competitive, and I love that it's growing out here, especially for women. I remember when I started, not a lot of the women that I started with kept going at my very first school, but now here at 88 is like there was a black belt before me, and then I followed her path, you know, and then like we've got more like blue belts and purple belts, and we've got the juveniles coming up, and so
Who are the black belts you were looking up at that time?
Um, well, actually, the reason I ended up at 88, I have to say, was like Vanessa Griffin. She won the worlds at blue belt, and I was like, oh my God, there's like a girl in my area here in Maryland that won the worlds. So that's really what brought me to 88. And then, you know, she's gone up in the belts and always been like maybe a belt above me.
And she's still competing.
She's
right?
still,
I see
yeah.
her
For
doing,
Pan Am's wars, everything.
Yeah, yes.
her and Marisha, sometimes they get
They fight in the
same,
open. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, see, again, Marisha's super competitive out here.
yeah.
She's doing
She
great.
just won
Just
Brazilian
won Brazil.
She won
national
Brazil.
last.
She won
That's
Europe
nice.
this year. Yeah, and so Vanessa's still competitive at the black belt level. She I think took second in Europe. Did Pans, did Brazil. Always does the open. You know.
Vanessa.
We
We
want
want
to
you
hear.
Yeah, I'm sure she'd love to come down. So, yeah, but she's always been like a few steps ahead of me, and then like some of my jujitsu is definitely like I'm like, oh, she's doing that to me now, and then is like a year or two later, I'm like, oh, now I get it, and some of that stuff is
It's awesome to
rubbed
have
off
on
on
the
me.
room you train somebody close to your body size or whatever like that, or a little bit ahead on the belt on the level that can push you and be an inspiration. You know, I love this. I always try match up that people I know like close type or like close ages or whatever. I feel these help you then grow. You know, both.
Yeah.
You know, because like you probably figure out a lot of things from her game too. And when you train together, you start to block some things that she need to improve and get better. You know, to catch you on that. That's really
Yeah.
good.
Right now we've got like a nice group of like juvenile male and female, and then we've got a pretty good girls team, and then we have like a bunch of like small guys that are like in your rooster and light feather. And so for me as a female competitor and just like training every day, I've got a lot of different things happening. Certainly what's happening with the juvenile boys, like the double pulls, the bolos, is not happening in my Master 3 female black belt division. It's like feels very different. But the girls at like the brown and black belt level are the ones that like giving me the most
Realist.
positive feedback. that's
Somebody,
super cool.
somebody, I don't remember who, but told, hey, when I want to go hard for real, the teenagers, they come
Luisa
at me.
Monteiro.
Luisa?
She said that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The boys come at me
Like the
crazy.
14,
like they want
15
it.
years,
16,
16, like the teenagers.
they're not heavy enough sometimes to hurt you, but they go at you like as a
They
female,
already
right?
get like
Yeah.
a good technique and getting strong too.
Yeah, and our kids, yeah, I've seen the kids since they were much smaller than me, and now like the guys all hit their like guy strength, and now they've overtaken me, they've overpowered me. But yeah, even like our girls, they go super hard, they're super fast. Again, me as the masters, I'm like I got struggling to keep up, but like it's good. That pace like makes your reaction.
Yeah.
You can train yourself. Even though I was like I'm not as fast, and I definitely get tired quicker because of my age. Having those quick transition is like it's better to train the quick transitions than have everything just like super static. So.
And so, what is the difference for you? You said like a match. Like, how do you feel the matches are the difference on matches for competing now to other divisions?
Yeah,
You said
so
you're master.
yeah, so I'm Masters 3. So
You don't look master.
Yeah,
three,
look good.
thank you.
But
Looking better than me just to get on the master one.
So yeah, so I'm 41, and I did adult, like all the way up to brown belt, so I'd always compete in adult, and then I do Masters World. I was the one Masters tournament, and so that would always
One master tournament a year. Every year.
I'd only
come
do
for
the Masters World,
Masters World.
and I would do Master.
And out there you're
one.
gonna adult. Cause it's hard to get like it
I
or
don't
any
do
opens
adult. I
too.
don't do. I mean, I slowed down.
But you have many women coming to Master Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, Masters.
you have
That's
enough
the thing
matches,
is Master
right?
Worlds is like getting bigger and
Yeah.
bigger. Yeah, there's tons in the division. So I did adult for a long time, and again, it was it's fast paced. It's oftentimes with kids that are early 20s. And now that I'm black belt, I'm doing my age. I also always competed in feather, and then there's a transition from featherweight to lightweight. Featherweight's mostly pulling, more intricate guards. The lightweight females a lot stronger. They'll take you down, a lot more takedowns. So there was a transition there from like brown to black and a weight class. And then
You did that weight class division, the momento too.
I did the weight class.
Close weight.
Yeah.
Close momento got a black belt.
Yeah, so I started doing lightweight probably my last year of brown, and I could feel the difference. Like the girls were standing up more and doing more takedowns. Got taken down a couple times in brown belt. I was like, no, that never happened
Nobody
in feather.
would,
It
yeah.
never happened
They
in
would
feather.
pull right away.
Yeah, it was always like a double pull, whoever pulls faster.
That's
I remember-
crazy, but like I when I got my black belt, I hurt my knee on the first year, and when I normally fight on a super heavy, and I come back, it get a little bit hard to cut the weight, and I'm like, let me try it on the ultra heavy. Nobody pull guard on ultra heavy. Once a while, now Vitor Hugo, a couple other guys, but like when I get my black belt like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it's like nobody pull guard on the ultra heavy, just like takedowns head to head.
Who wants to be
Yeah.
on body?
Yeah, like nobody wanna be on body, but like, get a good transition.
With me, it was like a lightweight. Everybody wants to pull guard. I had to jump on their ankles. The meow, bro. Man, I would dive into their feet to get the 2 points.
Like you should have double leg hit from to the
You
door.
know, nobody wants to fight standing. You have
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
jump. Things are changing. I think the guys are
Yeah.
standing
I'm
more.
on maybe probably first to have ultra heavy pull guard on the competitions. I get that.
Bring it
I
in.
need to train more judo or start sweeping these guys.
That's right.
It's hard.
Yeah, so there's definitely the difference in the weight classes. But then, yeah, so I got my black belt in December and went to Europe, did Dallas and Pans. Yeah, first tournament, I remember the girl just was like super sturdy, strong, but not too strong, and just like making no mistakes. Everything just felt like, oh, you can't. It was just such an interesting transition.
Black belt sometimes no, most of the time I tell that to my friends. It's not who's fight better, who's do less mistakes.
Yeah.
One mistakes is
Can cost you the whole match.
cost the
Yeah.
match. It's like sometimes you're on a good day, you're not gonna commit any mistake, and you're gonna be a world champion. Sometimes you're in a bad day, and first mistake you do, you're done.
And people talk a lot about, man, those matches are so slow. It's like, yeah, because they're very technical. You don't understand enough jiu-jitsu to know what is going on there. That's why it's not as entertainment, because as a black belt, you want to win,
But
right?
If
And
that
you cannot
time
make,
it comes
make mistakes.
lower, I think is better. I think about that all
The
the
time,
time.
yeah.
Should be like maximum 7 minutes, I think.
7
So
minutes
Yeah.
to get them to...
five is will be crazy. 5 minutes.
Even ADCC, you saw the guys waiting for the
Points time
You know,
sometimes,
10
yeah.
minutes and like the last
No,
the
that's true.
5 minutes. You did compete there. You saw many guys.
Yeah,
right?
I'll wait for the. But like I
Yeah.
that's true. I feel like if you put the timer a little bit low, maybe adjust a little bit some penalties to get more fast penalties. Penalize them fast. You stole it. 10 seconds. Boom.
Yeah.
Fight. 10 seconds. Fight. Advantage. Boom. They will fight. We're gonna push into fight. But guys, like I just fought last weekend. 10 minutes. Sometimes. How my life going crazy if I fight crazy all the match 10 minutes I will guys out on the first mat, chill, wait for the best opportunity, boom boom study 5 minutes. You don't have time to do that. You should do first, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
True.
better.
That's
Sorry,
the way-
cut you again. We cut it
No,
all the time.
it's-
It's everybody.
It's fine. I
You know why
never
we cut
did an
you?
adult 10-minute match but like
Hey,
for masters is shorter.
we cut you because we might forget the question we're gonna ask.
All the time. All the time.
That might happen. Because I want to ask you some other stuff too, not related to jiu-jitsu. Because you said you
Yeah.
moved to Maryland, right? To the DMV area, right?
Mm-hmm.
To school. So what is your major? What is your...
Yeah, I moved to DC to do my master's in public administration, and then I worked internationally in my 20s. I moved.
What is the public administration? What kind of segment? Like what would that be?
It's like a business administration degree for the public sector, so nonprofits or government. So yeah, public policy analysis, budgeting, that kind of stuff,
Nice.
statistics. Didn't really use it so much, but I guess I work at a nonprofit now. But yeah, so worked internationally, lived in Hungary, Italy, South Africa, Egypt, traveled a lot.
That's that's in your 20s.
As in my 20s, yeah. This is before I started jiu-jitsu. Yeah, traveled a lot, worked abroad. Probably worked abroad like 4 or 5 years. No, probably like 6 years. Moved back at around like 29, 30.
Non-profit organizations. Non-profit organizations.
Yeah,
around
so
the-
my first job out of grad school was to work for the UN and
What is that? I'm
the
sorry.
United Nations. And so I worked for the United Nations and working with refugees. And then I transitioned into international trade policy and worked with American companies working outside of the US.
That's a lot of interesting experience.
It was
there.
cool, yeah. It was super interesting.
Travel is always a great experience, like every time
Yeah.
you travel, you learn a lot, get experience for another country, another culture.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved learning the language. I still speak Arabic and Italian. I haven't brushed up on my...
capiche. That's the only thing I know.
In Brazil, we had some soap opera that got
okay.
popular with immigrants talking about the immigrants that came from Italy, and they throw some words in, and we still remember some, and we think we speak Italian.
So that's
You
the
just
reference
move
to
your
it,
hands,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's very...
Bambino,
it is-
bambino.
Yes, that's true.
That's
Yeah, I mean, that's what's so cool about jiu-jitsu now is young people get the opportunity to travel. So like I'll have teammates that are traveling to different countries. They just went to Brazil, they went to Europe earlier. People can do the Asian Open, and that's giving young people opportunities that they may have never have had to travel. So
true.
that's awesome. I love that.
And hey, talking about non-profit, one day we'll talk a lot. We want to create a non-profit organization. If you can help us in the future to help kids from poverty, help them to do jiu-jitsu, and use jiu-jitsu as a way to give them a tool to change their lives. Sometimes we know that sometimes they just need that opportunity, and we want to one day be able to do this. It's part of our mission as
Definitely.
well.
I started on a no profitable school. The jiu-jitsu, when I start, the first maybe 5 years, my first 5 years is on like a social project in Brazil, inside the church,
Okay, yeah.
That's great. Changed a lot of people's life. I'm the first world champion from this social project, but
Sorry.
I'm like, I see a lot of people get like a black belt from there, open school, move to outside the country, has opportunities. Do you understand? I think like I'm the first one to successful in a competition, but in life, the professor from there changed like too mad. It's hard. I remember sometimes one time like we lost a kid from he died. Like he maybe like 3 or 4 years older than me. And that's like a really loss for my professor. He feel that so bad because he come to train, but he's still like sell drugs, like still in a bad way, and like they keep and try transfer him like, hey, come to jiu-jitsu, we have this opportunity to you, start to teach a little bit on the kids, and he come for a couple months and go out again. And when in one bad situation he died, man, my professor like so bad, so like he felt that so much. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to have this one day.
We tried before the pandemic. We tried to create us like we tried to raise money
Yeah.
to help people from Brazil to give them opportunity to come and compete worlds. You know, like
We're gonna,
we're already doing
the
it,
idea is like sponsor like two one woman one.
and we had a name already for the foundation. Keep the hope alive.
Oh,
That was it.
That's
And then we started, and then the pandemic came and hit it. But we want to get back again. Maybe you
Yeah.
could give us some advice, in the future. That would be interesting.
yeah. I'm not on the fundraising side of our nonprofit, but I can share experiences about nonprofits, and my work we had a retreat, and that's something we talked about of how do we transition from being a nonprofit. People give you money so that you can do your services, right?
Donation.
Yeah, your donations, but then the ultimate goal is they want to give you, right? I mean, I guess in the donor world, it's like they want to give you seed capital so that in 5 years or X number of years that you are self-sufficient. So while you're a nonprofit, you are serving a service that people don't pay for, or there's no incentive to make money. But even you as a nonprofit, doing those services, you have to be sustainable at having at least one arm that generates income so that you are sustainable.
That's interesting. I never
So
thought
yeah,
about this.
so like just raising donor funds every year, like it gets harder and harder over time. There's a lot of interest and you get a lot of help in the beginning, but they tend to dry up over time, right? So it's like if you can think of it as hey, we need seed capital for the first 5 years, and then at some point we want to be self-sustaining. Is there a revenue generating component, or is there something, or can you invest and then whatever you invest in pays you money every month or something like that,
Yeah.
so that your nonprofit is sustainable and
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I never thought about this.
well, I just had a retreat for work and we were talking about that, is like, and that's kind of where everything it goes now, is like, think of it as seed capital, because it's not going to be indefinite that you'll be able to.
Hey,
It's hard to keep just to get money.
Yeah,
About
it is
nonprofit.
hard.
Yeah.
Every time I go to buy stuff and like, hey, do you want to donate this? It's like, I used to donate, but it's like, no, I rather take the money and donate to like someone, because I don't know what they're doing with that. And that what is that world? When I go to a store and they ask me for the donation, like, is that should I trust that, or like what is
I mean, yeah, you see it a lot more. You
See a lot
see it-
on
you
the
see it at Starbucks,
Walmart too,
and
or
Walmart. Yeah,
Starbucks,
and you're
so.
seeing like, I mean, you should research that nonprofit, and nonprofits have to be transparent. They should have all of their stuff online, and so it says like, hey, we raised this amount of capital. Here are the channels.
allocation?
Yeah, some of it's marketing, some of it is partnerships with major corporations, and they should have a breakdown of the money, like percentage wise, of where the money is collected and then where it goes. Oftentimes, a lot of the money is to pay for staff. I mean, that's the most expensive part to keep the organization running. But if it's a nonprofit, it should be fully transparent. So just go on the website for that nonprofit.
Check it out.
Start looking at their financials and start, that'll help you understand.
But is that
percentage
is
breakdown.
trustable when I go to a store? Like, even if, let's say I don't know any.
Some nonprofits are better than others, and that is something that you should research. Like, how much of every dollar you give to a donation to a charity, how much, like some nonprofits, like 80% go to the charity and only like 20% to the mission.
Got it.
And so you can pick your nonprofit based on, some of them it's 50%. Some of it is more. Some of it, if they have a good income generating model, 70% of everything raised from donors will go directly to like whatever beneficiary, whether it's kids or whatnot. So that's how you pick and choose the better nonprofits, is the ones that give more money to whatever services. But all nonprofits still have that element of they have to keep the lights on, they have to pay staff, they have to, sometimes they're buying goods, and so that's where the money goes for, to whatever. So
I think like I've been to a nonprofit event in Kansas City for cancer hospital, where now then you can see like this is amazing. It's an event where the donors, everybody coming together, but it's amazing to see like because their mission is like we're not turning any kid away. Every kid that needs the help, it's getting treated.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing to see that, like it's amazing to see that work and see it working, but it needs capital to be sustainable, right? Like they need to raise capital to be able to treat the kids coming to the hospital. I'm a big supportive on supporting those causes that I think related to my life, I guess, to and to have people that are capable of doing that work, for others, it's you gotta have such a big heart, to be able to do that.
Some
'Cause
people
it's not about
born with that mission.
it's the mission,
Yeah.
Like,
like we talk about we're the jiu-jitsu missionaries.
yes.
We're trying to spread jiu-jitsu around the world. That's our mission. And
So we go see us hit people doors and like, you wanna hear about
he sent me
jiu-jitsu?
he sent me a video on Instagram. He's like, JP, look at it. The guy
It's
come
fine.
with the
Universal.
universe jiu-jitsu. I think it's Saulo's book.
Yeah,
right?
Saulo
Oh,
book.
okay.
Saulo book.
Saulo book. Like, hey, do you want to hear about jiu-jitsu? I was like, no, man. I'm
Someone
cool.
came to your door.
No.
No,
It's
no,
a
it's
video.
a
It's a
video,
funny
like a
video.
funny video.
Like, hey, do you want to hear about jiu-jitsu?
And the guy, no, I'm fine.
Hey, you gotta know about jiu-jitsu, man. You gotta.
You should convert for jiu-jitsu.
Such a funny. It's like us, like, hey, you gotta know.
But like that's great. It's called every place. My wife get mad sometimes. Like, hey, you should stop talk about jiu-jitsu. I go to, I don't know, get a coffee. When I think about, I don't think. When I realize I'm talking about jiu-jitsu, sometimes I give my card. Sometimes I just like, if it's far away, don't talk about my academy. But like, man, you should look for some jiu-jitsu close to you. And then like, it's like you promote somebody. I don't care. I just wanna hit doing jiu-jitsu. If he join jiu-jitsu, I'm fine. Then
That's right.
that's why like.
We,
It's funny
Yeah,
when
I
you
mean-
start to talk about it and people, oh yeah, no, it's like UFC, no. I'm like, no, it's not UFC, no. It's jiu-jitsu. It's like they don't even know what is MMA. They think everything's UFC. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, jiu-jitsu changed my life, for the better. Everybody has the reason that they stayed in it, and it literally can change your life for the better. And the people who get in it, even if maybe they make it to only blue or only purple, like they've learned something, they've gained some sort of confidence, they gained a skill that they didn't think they could be good at, and they can carry that in every aspect of their life, And so, like, I agree with you. I'm like, everyone should try jujitsu.
Good try.
It's a process oriented activity that has all these benefits. You have community, you have physical activity, it's a self development endeavor.
I feel for the momentum we live today, the community is one of the most valued things jiu-jitsu can give to us, because like
For sure.
people, like especially after COVID, it's this here, man, like computer or like on the hand
Virtual,
on
everything's
virtual
going
everything.
virtual.
Most of the people work from home now too. A lot of
gonna
people
say.
like do homework. They pass like how the week we talk to somebody sometimes. That's crazy. You should go out and
Well-
see people.
Well, and I'm like that. I'm an introvert by nature. I'm a computer programmer. So I work from home, and it's my inclination to
You're
stay
like-
at home and be
You
in the
develop.
quiet and not talk to anyone. That is my like default. But like, if I didn't have jujitsu, then I would be alone like a lot of the times. And so you meet people who don't have a community, don't have anyone they're accountable to, or who's waiting for them, or like our gym. We have a small gym, and we depend on each other. My coach was just talking about this morning that we need everyone to show up. So we have the kids in the world's training camp, and they need all the masters to be there, just because we need to fill the room so that they can achieve whatever their goals. And so or just even the social aspect of your teammates, like the experiences you have with your teammates are me trying to tell someone who doesn't do jiu-jitsu almost
They
doesn't
don't understand.
They don't understand.
Yeah.
Like
They can't.
you cry, you laugh, you fail, you succeed. You have this deeper bond than with anybody else. It's like you have your family, and your family will have known you your whole life. And besides that, it's like your jiu-jitsu, like you can be closer to a jiu-jitsu teammate in a year of just going through the process together than
You're gonna be.
a coworker you've known for 10 years.
That
You know, and so
Hey,
it's just
we're
like,
hugging each other, squeezing each other, trying to choke each other out, sweating on each other's mouth.
try that. Hey, the
That
great things
happened.
you try kill each other, and 2 minutes later we hug each other like, hey, thank you for the training, man. That's like that don't happen in any other sport.
or even just like it's just like the chess game. It's like your teammate, like you're really good at something, then they learned how to defend it, and you're like, touche.
And they
But then-
teach you how to.
yeah, and then you're like,
counter, right?
I'm gonna come back to the next practice, let's do that, 'cause that you get in that position and you're like, I have a counter for you, and it's this like fun game of going back and forth. And yeah, it challenges your mind to be analytical. Well, I'm a very analytical person with my jiu-jitsu. That's my default, but other people are more feelers. Maybe they're just feeling it out, and they don't want to drill, but they love just to spar all the time, but then they're reacting to how you feel, and it's like, you're getting good feedback to whatever you're doing.
Hey,
And
I think we're a bunch of nerds. Ever jiu-jitsu, because we're like that.
Yeah,
I feel, man, I'm research about jiu-jitsu all the time,
day.
all day long. Like, I'm a jiu-jitsu nerd.
I know.
You
I
know,
do,
like-
I really I'll watch a bunch of matches, I'll go back and I'll replay, and I'll study it. Like that's how I get better at jiu-jitsu. And it's like, but also I'm a fan of the sport. I've done this now 10 years. Like, I love the sport. I just generally enjoy it. I can watch people I don't know. I can watch my teammates, and I just enjoy it. So
And I forgot. I talk about like
you were like,
Like-
you had this really deep thought, and you're like, it's gone.
I talk about the resenha, that connection, just like the conversation after the train too. Sometimes like the 5 minutes you'll be on the mat make you get super close with your friends. Like a message sometimes, like you don't show up for 2 days, whatever, you get sick. Somebody will message you.
Yeah.
Hey man,
Where are you?
what happened? Where are you? You're not gonna. I need you here too. It's like for sure he cares about you, but he wanted your body there to train with here too. Do you understand? That's like it's a good
It is.
connection. You know.
Yeah. And just going back to that, someone who's like me, who's an introvert by default, you could definitely lose yourself in spending too much time alone. And I've met people who don't have a community. Like, you can find that maybe at church or maybe another sport, but if you don't have that, then
You can.
I mean, they don't have that community. They don't have a strong community. So
How do you feel? What do you mean? How do you feel like when you like be like on your own? Like what is that? I like I
are
don't
you
know.
an extrovert?
No, I don't know. I'm
Um,
not really educated about it, or maybe they don't know it. No, they are not. Like I know it.
just an introvert is like, I like to work in quiet. Quiet calms me down. I like being around people, but after a couple hours I get drained emotionally. So it'd be good for me to like be around people for a couple hours, and then I have to go sit by myself, recharge, and then I can come back out. It's mostly just like your energy management, right? So that's why I have no problem just spending a lot of time by myself. It's usually watching jiu-jitsu or some sort of research, but yeah, I don't mind like being, in a quiet place. And so I work from home.
You and
I don't know
you.
if that sounds like
Sounds.
I know.
but then
Sometimes I need that, but I can't because I have a daughter and a little kid now. Sometimes I want to.
gonna say,
I need 3 jobs. so I just want to be alone, guys.
yeah, I mean, it's,
But we can't chill. Like we're like Max and I sometimes like, man, what if you do this? Random, like we're chilling. It's like, hey, what if you do this? Like, I think it would work.
No,
Let's try it.
and the problem, every time he come with idea, I'm like, yeah, I definitely think that's a good idea. And I accept. I go with him for some idea, and he accepted too. I'm like, fuck, we never slow down, man. That's crazy.
Doing. It's well, it's kind of like how our mind works because it's different, right? Like you prefer like, because I'm like my
Oh, it's
mind is
going.
like
200 for
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I have my work, and then I have jujitsu, and then like I have that whole like other creative world. My most creativity comes from those quiet moments, right? So, um, but like I'm active in a bunch of other things that, so maybe that's why I like my like quiet. I'm like I need this hour by myself. It's because I am so active, So I have like
recharge.
yeah, because I have like other groups. I have a bunch of other stuff that I'm doing or just trying to like get going. Like I'm a real estate investor as well, so managing that kind of stuff and
For sure, take a lot of your time too. No,
yeah, and that can take up a lot of time. So I'm like,
How
Good
did you
for
get
the
into real
houses.
estate?
I used to work in real estate, and so
Maryland or back in?
yeah, here in Maryland. It was before my current job. I was a data scientist in real estate, and then I just started being interested in the investing side. Um, and just started like going to meetups and meeting other real estate investors, and that's how I learned. I mean, that's how most people learn, just like you find mentor and then
They help you out.
yeah.
How like what would that means? You buy like a physical property.
I think it has a lot of different ways, no, to
There's a ton of different
invest.
ways. Yeah, in my first year I tried a bunch of different things, and there's a lot of different ways. Yeah, you can real estate, you can buy like a single family home, buy and hold. You can invest some of your money into someone else's project in like a multifamily, so like an apartment building. You can do tax liens and tax deeds, and you just buy, or you pay for tax overage, and then you collect the percentage on that when they pay it back. I mean, there's little ways that you can do it.
I have a house
Like
for you
your-
to buy in Brazil. Do you want to buy a house? Guys, I'm selling a house in Brazil. If you want to buy it, reach out to me on my DM. Man, I can't wait to sell this house.
It's a beautiful house,
It's
guys.
a beautiful
Check it out.
house. But when you're not,
You're not there.
If you
to-
don't
to
live it
join,
there,
no,
you're like-
yeah.
What's
if
the
you wanna,
housing
if you
market
wanna
like?
invest in Brazil, you should.
But yeah,
Wow.
a lot of I like that. I'm really interested on real estates too.
Nice.
I don't start yet, but I think I need to slow down in other parts of my life to
Well, yeah, you
get
just,
it.
with your new school, your
Yeah.
max expenditure right now, I'm sure.
Take so much my time, but
Yeah.
yeah, I really interested. I saw some people get like people some flipping, some like
Yeah.
buy and put to rental. There's a lot of different ways.
I think Tim was
Tim coming
was
here
He
once,
said
like-
he was law. He is a lawyer, but he doesn't work as a lawyer anymore because he started investing
On the real
properties,
estate,
and that's
They
and
school's
and they
doing good
school,
too.
so
Yeah.
he just decided.
Well, I
to-
mean, speaking of like the nonprofit, like if you have certain investments, like can you invest in a property and then get all your investment capital back and then have the investment property paying you a certain amount of money each month? That would help your nonprofit be sustainable. So it's those types of like long-term goals that you can work towards to have income coming in that will fund something else in your life.
How could we do that in jiu-jitsu? If how would you do that in jiu-jitsu? Like,
I mean,
Create a
that was just a
nonprofit.
very abstract idea.
like
but,
yeah,
know,
like I think you're the best person to ask. How would you do like something like that? Like it doesn't have to be
mean,
that way, but
if it's just like if you're hypothetical, I mean, you could raise a certain amount of money, and then I mean, you'd have to be honest with whoever you're raising the money for. It's like, hey, this money we're gonna put into real estate, and here's our projected return on the money, and then that the money goes into like a trust, right? A trust that's managed, and you can't use it for any operating capital of the nonprofit. It would just be whatever it makes every month. I guess could come into your income side or something like that. It
for
would take a
jiu-jitsu,
while.
how would that works for jiu-jitsu?
I mean,
Is that like we could
And you,
purchase a house and put like the athletes, people there.
I mean, I was thinking more of
Maybe on that making money to support the athletics. Yeah.
yeah. So you would actually, I would keep it separate. Like if you raise capital, you'd be like, hey, we're looking for seed capital and we're gonna invest it in real estate, and then the money we make from real estate
It will
is the
support.
income for the nonprofit. Keep it totally separate. Don't. I wouldn't. I mean, personally, I wouldn't put like. I wouldn't mix. Have it just be its own business that's running
Separate, yeah,
separate,
yeah.
you know, and then the income from it, you know, you put into the operating budget of your nonprofit. Again, it doesn't happen overnight, but like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's a
again,
long
if sometimes like when you're raising money for a nonprofit and you're like, okay, you give us $50,000 and this year it's only like you spend it in a year, you know, then the money goes away and you have to go back.
You have to.
But if you're like, okay, well, we're actually want to raise it and we want to invest it so that like we'll get an income from the investment and then it's sustainable, that's a different proposition, because then they're like, okay, we know we'll get our 50,000 back in X number of years. It's usually, it can be like 5 to 7 for like a real estate investment. It's long term. Real estate is long term. But then you have an income producing property that you own. So
And could.
yeah, and then like yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool. We need more like people like we have so many smart people like you in jiu-jitsu, you know, like
Yeah,
get
some
people come
ideas
from a
like
lot
that,
of
you know,
different
like-
minds. Yeah,
man, like what you're saying, like it can really change the industry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with that knowledge, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
and maybe be able to replicate that with other. Hey, that's how it's done. You know, maybe do this in New Mexico. Hey, maybe do this in California, in Brazil, in of
Brazil's
course the
hard.
law changed.
Yeah.
The law might
Brazil's
change.
hard. Sorry.
No, maybe the law.
yeah. I
the
don't
law
know. I don't
change.
know
But
the
like,
real estate
what-
laws in
yeah.
Brazil, but
Yeah,
Yeah, but you know, like
works too, but it's in a different way now.
Yeah.
Like it's I think in Brazil real estate is good for como que é terreno que fala?
lots, the
Lots. Not lots, no.
lots,
Lots?
lots.
empty land, like
Empty
land.
Land, yeah. And like it's really good. I have a friend, he do that. For he's not my friend, his parents. He get the lots in a good proper, you know, building like he do a building, but couple wants to rental, sell couples, and then go sell on time, you know. And he sells sometimes before the construction get done. That's like how he make a lot of money, you know, because he can use that money. He sell the apartments to make the construction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. He do like build it's not big buildings, but like 4 or 5, 4 or 6 floors.
Floors, yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah,
That's a good way.
But like we need we have so many. I talk to my students. I have so many students. They're like very smart and very. They're black belts in their areas. Like
I was gonna say you probably have like lawyers and financiers. And, like,
lawyers,
you can draw on all of their.
cybersecurity. You know,
Yeah.
like so many in our area here, right?
yeah.
Like there's so many
yeah,
of
for
that.
sure.
Military, you know, like. So it's kind of like it's interesting. Like it's a different world for us, you know, like. The podcast we love the podcast. We learn things like just talking,
Yeah.
you know, learning like about people's lives.
I
and
told
like,
her before I started, that's one of the funnest things that I did in my life. Sit here and talk.
You know,
Yeah,
hearing
no,
my
yeah.
life.
I'm really scared in the beginning by the English, you know, by the language. I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but we make it happen. I say some things wrong, but you guys understand.
But no, that's true. Maybe one day if we can, like we're definitely doing it. We don't know when, but
Yeah.
we're doing it. We're
There's-
definitely
and-
gonna try to
Yeah, there's ways to.
talk and
Yeah, there's other ways, and that was just like one idea, but
Yeah. hey,
yeah,
the
that's
jiu-jitsu
awesome.
needs that because we see so many social products
Yeah.
coming in, like
But the
Dream
problem
Art.
is
Dream
it's
Art.
coming in,
Dream
go
Art
out.
was a social product. It is a social project. You know, like they're doing like
They have
big.
a lot of capital.
But the thing is, for how long?
Yeah.
It
how
starts
long?
coming down already. You know, if you see a lot of people like last month, 5 or 6
They left.
athletic is left for another team. Get a reason, probably, you know.
I remember, I think it was an oil company. if I'm not wrong, was the oil companies giving the support for them,
That's
and
what
but
I
they did it
remember. Yeah.
great. They did it great for jiu-jitsu, but like, is this sustainable? How can it be, like even jiu-jitsu events, right? When you talk about events, so many big events, hey, they're paying this and that, but like they do once and they're gone. It's like I don't think that's. I think we need to try to look for sustainable ways of doing this,
Yeah.
so it can happen again.
Yeah, well, Reality's probably not gonna bring in as much capital as the oil company.
Yeah, no,
but
they are.
that was a lot. I mean, Dreamer
Yeah.
has a lot of money.
But the oil can support that, like you said, right? They
Yeah.
have the oil, so now they invest in something that
That
can
is sustainable,
sustain.
or put it in a trust, or like there are some. What are like the big trusts? What am I thinking of? Like a not a dowry, but I'm blanking on the term, but it just has there's like a pot of money and then it's invested in something else, and so the original pot of money never gets touched, but it generates so much income every month, and so
Oh, o Tesouro Direto do Brasil.
I think it's like a
They have,
not bonds.
I don't know the name
It's like a
here, but
Treasure.
yeah, I'm totally blanking on the word.
In Brazil, it's like I think it would be treasure, something like that. Here,
Yeah,
you guys know, you can send.
yeah,
it
if somebody
in the
know,
comments.
send a
But
message.
yeah,
But I understand. I know what you're talking about.
yeah. So
I
there's
just don't
yeah.
know the name.
But yeah, but I don't like. Maybe it would be good to bring Isaac as well here to talk about
Isaac,
the
yeah.
project.
Isaki,
Isaac,
we want you here.
But like I think it would be interesting because like the way he was able to, I think he was the leader, right? Not only him, but the way he was able to like
Managed
manage that and make things happen. It really changed the way
the
we saw jiu-jitsu,
scenario. You
like
can see the
scenario,
scenarios
things,
change.
yeah.
They like school start to pay more the athletics too. That's like for you. That's the beginner now.
Not
no,
pay
to
more, actually pay.
actually pay because that
They
before
had a
that don't
salary,
happen.
things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's happening anymore, which is the sad part about it, right?
Well, someone funded like the Mendez brothers, and now that they're sustainable, right? Aren't they?
Was the Ruka?
Hookah, yeah.
So they had
That
some
brand.
investment capital, and then they were able to make it so that they're generating.
They
mean,
opened a second
that's
school
really-
too.
I mean, I think they make all their money off of the online stuff. I mean,
I think they
That's
make
the-
more there in this place.
I think so too.
okay, yeah.
I think.
Either-
I think
Well, either
'cause
way,
they have
So much
they have
students. Oh my
sustainable-
God.
Yeah.
they have a
So
lot of
much
people.
killers.
I think
Yeah, so
they make more. But online is worldwide.
Maybe
We don't
now,
know the
no.
numbers yet.
Maybe now because maybe on the beginner, maybe on the
Thailand
beginning the
coming.
online is more into to building up
True.
the students everything. Cause the name sell a lot
Yeah.
to already for a long time.
I
They
see
come.
them more. I think they invest more into the online stuff because BJJ Fanatics. Oh, don't say that name. The other company out there. I'm kidding.
No, I mean,
BJJ
Bernardo
Fanatics
Creative is
was
a great profit
Platform,
model.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's super successful.
And Roll Live is coming. We want you there. We're gonna talk to the
Yeah.
Roll Live guys. Maybe do instructional. The plan is trying to get a studio for the instructional course close to
Door
to
side,
here.
yeah.
On the next door, so
Oh, awesome.
we can record and high quality content.
That's awesome.
I think one thing that Bernardo is missing is the quality.
Can be better on the
Keenan
videos,
is doing
yeah.
that. I think quality
Keenan,
wise,
do a better quality.
Keenan and the Man's brothers.
On the production side or the
Yeah.
content?
Production. Like on the real film, cameras, lights.
Yeah.
Cause sometimes now a lot of
Angles, different angles.
yeah
you
they
know, I
do.
think
Sometimes they do it from your house, whatever. I'm Max. He contacted me,
Yeah,
film me
yeah,
here on my academy,
you
and
feel
sent
like
to
recording
him.
your cell phone
It'll be a
or
little
whatever.
bit. The quality not gonna be the same,
yeah.
you know.
It's a easier way to reach more people, but I think
Kina do a really good
Keenan,
job.
I think Keenan is
on that.
the best quality.
What was the
production.
name? X, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
X
X is something.
Yeah, like
But they doing good.
so. I think that's the
Yeah,
difference.
that's a business model.
Yeah. But
Help a
another
lot of
make
people.
it,
Help a lot of people. Before, how we get all this knowledge? You should go on the seminars or like meet the person in person. You know, now you can buy his course, buy
I
his
know.
structure, and you learn.
I mean, I hear stories from my coaches of when the only time they could see other people's when they'd show up to the tournaments. There was no flow grappling. There was, you have to
YouTube,
film you
YouTube
have to
is like,
film yourself,
yeah.
and then you'd be like, what are we gonna see in the next 3 months? You have no idea. But now,
Or maybe next year. It's like, some people you just will see on the
Show
world's
that, yeah.
example, and like
Yeah.
1 year to see they fight again. It's hard.
and I think like the U.S. is more advanced in technology, right? Like I think you have more tools here than in Brazil. Because in Brazil, like I remember X Combat, the guys would come, put the cameras, put on their own website. It takes like a month for you to see your match. When they were around.
oh yeah.
We didn't have
When
cell
they don't
phones.
miss your match.
Yeah, like hey, I had a Nokia that wouldn't. I had the lights on top. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's
one?
the game, the sneaker game.
They sneak a game like
How you gonna
2009. My
prove
first iPod. I was telling Amanda this. My wife, her name's Amanda as well, and like I didn't have my first Apple was a friend of mine. He came to US and he had a iPod that has a
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
iPod Touch. I was like, man, $50. I'm gonna buy a new one. Do you wanna buy 50? I was like, oh, well, of course. That was my first, like interaction with Apple. And then eventually, I moved to here. I bought a iPhone, but we didn't have
The access
to like
yeah.
so even social media was different. Like I'm not that old, but like 2009, we didn't have much of that. Here is already more advanced, right?
Yeah.
If you look, the guys are more already on YouTube, posting more videos.
Yeah. That was before I started jiu-jitsu, but still it was like,
But technology was more
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
right?
but yeah, gosh, I can't even remember what it was like back then. I think
2009. What were you doing at 2000?
I was living in Egypt at the time, and I think I had joined Facebook when I lived there because Egyptians are very social. Like, I don't think it was popular yet in the US until I came back. So I got on Facebook basically because my culture is very social.
I
think-
joined
I think-
Facebook maybe like on 2012.
I was,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think, and then I got my first iPhone when I moved back,
was already camera, good camera.
I mean,
Rinsbo.
probably had my first iPhone. I don't know what generation that was, like 2010, 2011, something like that.
Yeah, that's like very beginning.
Yeah, it's
to
first
Brazil,
generation.
yeah.
I see the
First generation.
3-year-old kids. Oh, my iPad.
My
It's
iPad.
Like, what? I don't even have an iPad.
My daughter don't have 2 years yet, and she had
You
the
have an
iPad.
iPad? Come on. What is
Yeah,
going
but for
on
the
here?
kids, that's how you keep them entertained.
That's how you do.
And the problem-
If they don't have one,
I
it's like-
support it. I support it.
And the problem
You're doing
sometimes
crap.
she get mad, she throw that. I'm like, no, don't do that. I get a super nice case, like it's great. It's good.
But so
Is
like,
your daughter in jiu-jitsu or she's only 2?
No, yeah, she will turn it 2 next month.
Oh, she's
Yeah,
still young.
she's too young.
She's
But
on
she
the
like
mat, she's
she
on
on
the
the mat. Hey, I will show you one beautiful picture from today. I should show that. Sorry. I will post
she's
it
on the
tonight.
mat.
Matt raised. Huh?
She doing beautiful. Look at this.
Oh, what a cutie.
Quer mostrar na câmera?
Aí. Ela pronto. Pode mostrar aí, ó.
I don't know if you guys can see it.
That's the future. Okay, guys, you please be ready for the little killer.
You're
So
world champion.
you said you're traveling around. Like, what is your what? How was your experience? How do you think this experience of traveling, meeting people, doing all the foundation work or non-profit organization work? How did that make improve help you to improve yourself or change your way of looking at the world?
Yeah, so in my 20s, I traveled a lot and I had a lot of exposure to different types of people, different cultures, studied languages, different world views, accepting different ways of life, just interacting, with things that are strange. People learning from me learning from them. So it definitely gave me a broader worldview, but just kind of like general acceptance of different types of people, right? So I loved it. I mean, I love traveling. I love meeting new people. I love learning languages. I find it really fascinating. I love studying languages, I think, almost more. Like, I'm very nervous to speak another language. So, like, thank you guys for speaking English and, like, having, like, no fear just to start a podcast in, like, your second language. Because I understand that as the introvert inside me, I'm more nervous to speak another language. But I definitely love, like, studying it, and the colloquialisms that you learn in languages. And, like, I think you said a word earlier for that community, and you said
Resenha?
Resenha.
yeah. But so there you go. You have a word in Portuguese that means what I was trying to communicate, and it's like, that's what I love about languages is those things
You have
that
different
they're there to
words.
communicate like emotions and sentiment and like a concept, so yeah, I mean, my 20s was traveling, was also a little bit more on the party side, and then came back and
But
like settled
hey,
down.
if you're young and you have a chance to travel and collect
Yeah.
all the
Experience.
experience doing,
Yeah,
enjoy that time.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend young people to travel. If you're into jiu-jitsu, see if you can travel while doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That was maybe one of the
I
things
did it
that,
a lot, like into
yeah,
I don't know, my 27, 8. Never have a normal job, never just travel, compete, and make it happen.
yeah,
It's really good. Good experience. I
yeah,
got it. Fight Abu Dhabi, Argentina, USA many times, all Brazil. It's good. I enjoy a lot this time.
yeah. You've probably been places that I didn't get to travel to, but um, yeah, I mean, that would be the one change I would make is, I mean, I don't regret like what I did. I wasn't introduced to jujitsu when I was young. Um, it would have been cool to have a sport that because I'm competitive. I found sports later, right? Or I did sports in high school, but
What kind of
wasn't good.
sport?
I did soccer and basketball and ran track, but it wasn't really.
That's the women's soccer in the world is U.S.
Yeah, but so I wasn't good at these sports, and me trying to split 3 different sports, you never really get good at one, and that's something now that jujitsu has taught me is like focus on one,
Tell that to
and
the
get
parents, please.
get get good at like one sport
sport.
once. And so, I left high school not being good at any sport and not having and I also didn't do them young. These days you have to start young. By
But
the
it's cool to
time you
like
have,
split the time a lot too. No, I saw like some kids like do soccer, wrestling, swimming. They do a lot of things, piano, and it's like
yeah,
completely different. Like, oh my god, that kid is gonna burn out, guys. Please keep here and doing one thing.
exactly. You get burnt out, and then you don't continue with any of them,
Yeah.
right? So
It's like what I was telling my student. It's like a duck. You become a duck. You do everything, but you don't do anything good.
yeah, well,
Duck,
exactly. That's one of
don't
the
fly,
phrase,
don't run, don't swim,
Don't
do
be a
nothing.
duck.
Like, don't be a duck, okay, guys?
yeah, jack of all trades, master of none, right?
Is that the same?
That's
How
the
do you
saying.
say that?
Jack of all trades, that means you do a little of everything, but master of none, so that's probably why I stuck with jiu-jitsu. It's the only thing that one thing that I stuck with for so long. But then even now, like, I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly challenged, like,
Jiu-jitsu like that
you
forever,
never
no?
it never stops, so yeah, that's definitely what kept me in it. But now I'm like, do one thing, get really good at it, enjoy the process. That's also something I didn't know in high school. I didn't know how to learn. My coach here, Julius Park, he's really good at just constant development, always having me read books and taking assessments on like, how do you learn, how to optimize your learning style, understand yourself. How does your mind work? How does your training work? Like, how can read this book, watch this video, like always try to improve yourself.
Develop your personal development.
Yeah, personal development. And if there's something you're not good at, you can get better at it. I mean, that's the whole growth mindset of if you're not good at one, like I wasn't good at competing. I was like super high nervous person. And I remember in like blue belt being like, one day I'll be a good competitor, one day, because I was just so nervous. I was like nervous wreck, and oh my god, early days were terrible, having lots of anxiety. And I was like, oh, there are books for that. There's meditation. There's a lot of things that you can do. Hey, just compete more, you know?
What did you do to help your or was a big important change for you competing to become a better competitor?
Without be constant,
Yeah.
so compete, you know.
Yeah, like
So
without
that's
the
all-
regular, you know, big
Yeah.
training, you know, like what do you do outside of jiu-jitsu if you did
sure.
something?
I read a lot of books on like how to control your mind. Again, I was always super nervous, so meditation was big for me. I have to calm myself down before I compete, but then hype myself back up right as I get on the mat.
It's hard, no?
Yeah,
It's
it's like
hard.
it's a lot of emotions. I'll go up and down. Having a good warm up or just like your pre-competition routine, starting the day before, morning of, whether you compete in the morning, whether you compete at night, 1 hour in advance, 30 minutes, 2 minutes, like all of these things. I mean, mindfulness, meditation is probably the best for me. And then, yeah, I read a bunch of books, just, God, what was the most influential one? About training and mindset, and you can use, you can be present in the mind when you're drilling of like, oh, I need to be conscious of drilling something correctly. But then when you spar, you're trying to get out of your head, and you can use high emotional states in the training room to simulate some of the competition. And so stuff like that helped me. And then just competing enough over time.
Constance, no.
I mean, yeah, and then you're like, oh, I don't even care if I lose anymore. So like, you just kind of rid yourself of that fear of failure and.
The mind a lot of time. A lot of times is more mental game, right? Like you get there, like
Most of the time, man.
yeah, like you gotta be prepared, of course,
Yeah.
But like if you're not mentally prepared, like you might stress yourself too much and you blank, like or there like different ways of like.
Hey, for me,
Yeah.
it's a big change. Stop thinking about the result.
Yeah.
When I think about my performance more, I fight way better, and then start get this case like, whatever. If I win or lost, nobody cares for you. You know what I mean? Well, once people will talk about a little bit, but that's for myself. That's like my thing. You know what I mean? But when you think about the performance, all right, I want to get there, prepare, and perform good. If I'm gonna beat this guy or not, it's like consequence,
Yeah, that was something else that I agree with that, because I would always be afraid to lose, and then it changes how you fight. But for me, having little wins, so like you can go into a match and be like, hey, I didn't get taken down. That was the win. That's what I worked on. I lost the match.
JP talk about
But-
this a lot.
Yeah, so and that helps me enjoy the process so much more, because like, did I do what I was working on? Yes. Was it the final full result? Maybe not. But did I make progress? Yes. So
That's a win.
Yeah.
That's a
It
win.
motivates you to
Yeah,
keep
We
it's
going.
talk
a win,
about
you
this
feel
on the
good about
room
yourself.
when you train, no?
And I mean, that's the only thing that really sustain you in the long run.
But
right?
that's important even
Years.
when you train, not just to compete. Because sometimes especially if you work on something. All right, if I want to be a good half guard player, man, in the beginning, everybody gonna pass my guard.
Yeah.
But like, go building up today, nobody pass. Don't
Or
sweep
this is
nobody
how,
at.
yeah.
Don't sweep nobody at. But nobody pass my half guard. Like whatever, want to play like an shield or frame, whatever, or jeep half guard, and like you start sweep somebody. Oh, today like 2 guys pass, but I get 1 sweep. It's a win, and you go like that.
Yeah.
Go building up.
True. I think that's the. I really believe in that. Even for your training, to keep people engaged with jiu-jitsu, because it's a lot of failing. Like you have to fail every single day.
You go fail
Why
more
you're
than you.
you know, like, but you gotta find the wins as well during that. Like, you know, like kind of find balance of like, hey, I gotta force myself to lose because that's how
You
I can
improve.
improve.
Yeah.
But I gotta see the improvement, the good things I've done throughout my loss. You know, like I think that's how
I tell this
we
to, I
motivate.
tell that to everyone. To you get a good improvement, you need to get on a match. One person to you kill, one person to train hard, and one person to kill you. I feel like that's a really good way to keep improving. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you go at the gym, sometimes you can find, all right, you just go choice easy rounds. But if you keep only choice easy rounds every day, you're not gonna improve on the right way. You know, try every day. Look for the guy like, I don't know, this guy I know I will beat him here. This guy I know will be a tough match, and this guy go kill me. Go on these 3 matches every day, and then you keep up. Boom, 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 boom. That, like no limit.
Yeah, especially now, like as a black belt, it's like I can only do the things that I'm good at, which eventually my partner is gonna figure out, and then I'm not gonna be as good at it, right? Or I got, I need to constantly be developing my mat skills. And so that exactly what you said. I have to suck at it, don't have the ego, get beat by a lower belt, until you make the little like improvements, and then you're
You keep moving.
getting the sweeps, and then you're doing
And,
whatever else.
and that's life, right? Well, in your work, I probably try to think about the same thing, or like trying to improve every day.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of my work as a computer programmer. I literally am learning I have to study every day and learn something new.
I have an important question for you. You might be the best one that I know, Twins. I'm scared of the new robots, the AI stuff. What is going on with that? Did you see that? It's so real. Is that real? The
Which
robot.
one?
Have you seen the robots? They're humans. Human robot.
They
Like
look like.
like
I mean, we have definitely hit a turning point. We're in a brand new era with the explosion of AI, and then as you're gonna start to see the shifts of symbiont. Yeah.
No, I'm listening. I'm
robots.
listening. Like, what do you see in the way? Do you use AI like for work? It's like, is
what
that
I
a
do,
thing?
Yeah.
How do you use AI for your work?
I'm a data scientist. I work with images, video, and language analysis, and then we do machine learning and artificial intelligence for it.
Are you on the other side of the Matrix?
Hey, don't take it
No,
serious.
look. No, I'm kidding. No, look at this.
Zero.
No. I was like, I can't believe Ameka. That's her name. Ameka. Well, there's many other ones, but look.
Let's see.
Not particularly. Would you like to be a human? I think it would be an interesting experience to be a human for a short period of time.
No, don't
It
do
would allow me
this.
to experience a different way of life and to understand the world from a different perspective. However, I also understand that being a human comes with its own set of challenges and responsibilities, and I'm not sure if I'm ready to take on those types of commitments. Do you like
Is this real? Is this a robot? Is a fake image?
Yeah, I mean, you could
sounds
program ChatGPT to say that, and then put a voice to text, and then just put it in a robot.
No, but there's a real robot, right?
Yeah,
It looks
I don't know
like
if
it
that's
is,
a
right?
real thing, but sure, that's not that far off. Yeah.
What
But
are we
that
going to?
definitely is possible.
Yeah.
If it's not real,
It
it's
is.
possible
I
to
mean-
be.
We're done.
So, oftentimes with the language models, you have to program them to feel emotion, or they can start messing with people's minds. And like you have already seen that. Like I saw some news article with some guy in France. He chatting with a language model, and then he ended up, killing himself because he went down in a depression hole or something like that. Yeah, so there's some dangers to it. I mean, but that's on the side of like the programmers.
But like, if you like, my
I'm
thought
sure
is,
I'm not
yeah,
conveying the full scope of it, but
my thought
there's
is,
dangers for it. And,
yeah, like my thought is,
but it's also like
it's
not
positive
to be, it's not
too,
to be
right?
scared of. We're down that path. It's just going to become more way of life. How long have we lived with Alexa? Alexa is your perfect example of a language model that is in
Cell
now.
phone too, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean
City.
you have all these lots of things that are already in our life. We see video like that and you feel like that's so brand new, but we're actually a lot closer than that, you know, already. I mean, Alexa is that. You just don't have the
Alexa,
face.
turn the lights off.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
what is kind of scary is the physical, because when you think about when is a country against another country and they have the same technology, they're gonna use for a different purpose. Like, I don't think we're
Yeah.
gonna be using for the same purpose as a whole, as a
but that's,
you know.
that's
Can
like
be a lot of
any type of
arms.
weapon. Yeah, I mean, any type of weapon is like it's a race to who can use the technology better and faster, and it's scary, but
My God, guys, that's why we the best podcast.
Hey,
This
I
podcast
hope-
we talk
I
about
hope-
everything.
Can they take
but
over jiu-jitsu?
it's also like
Can they take over jiu-jitsu?
I
Or
hope
we're gonna
not, 'cause
fight
we're gonna
against
be.
them?
I don't know if you.
They can download now jiu-jitsu. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I know.
I learned so fast.
So ChatGPT, actually, I have played around with ChatGPT, putting like you ask it questions about jujitsu. People aren't writing down jujitsu. Jujitsu is it's like a video tutorial, so that language model can't access what's in videos or being shown. So it's kind of funny just to ask random questions because it gets them all wrong, and it's fun to play around with. I mean,
They got and
It's
improve
like-
so fast too, right?
Yeah.
Because like I see technology from 2000 to 2010. No, 1990s. Computers like huge and like barely
Yeah.
internet connection. 2000. You see the change, but like from 2000 to 1990 to 2000, the evolution was like from 2010
To now.
2015 is here. 2015 to 2020, huge.
yeah.
Like, it's going faster in like in less period of time. Like, it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy to see that.
It is. But I mean, might as well get on board, and it like if you think about like all the cool language and video, any kind of AI, like play around with it. It helps you spark creativity. Think about the cool things that you can do with it. You know, like it literally.
write emails with it. It's like, hey, you write me an email about this. I'm terrible with
done,
emails.
yeah.
I'm terrible.
You should make sure he's not sending you ChatGPT email.
ChatGPT, send me an email about this.
Perfect. That's like better than what I imagined. Okay, copy
that
and paste.
I mean, exactly. Everybody's doing that now. I mean, wow.
But that's scary
yeah.
why the kids
But
know.
it saves you time. I
It
mean, that's the
does.
whole
It,
part.
it
Like,
helps a lot.
yeah.
But what about the kids?
About them using it.
Yeah, when like
Like-
homeschool.
Yeah, I know my coworker was just telling me that their kid had it write their first resume. They were like, the resume was like, I have all this experience, but the kid had never had a job. So it's like they have to know like not to lie, and you can't fabricate stuff, even though ChatGPT isn't writing it. Or I've seen kids have ChatGPT write you a resume or a cover letter, and they sent the same cover letter to every person, and at the beginning it says, I am an AI language model. However, here's your answer. And they didn't even think to,
They even
to proofread it.
to
Yeah,
take this part.
to take it out of the cover letter.
Yeah.
So, or a resume. I mean, yeah.
No, it's but I think it's good for people that doesn't have a good grammar, like
Or
me.
timing too,
Yeah,
yeah.
actually, there's some benefits of it too. So I'm a programmer in Python language, but I was thinking about learning JavaScript to do something else, to create another product for myself that just makes my life easier. So I have to learn JavaScript. So I was like, ChatGPT, give me just some basics on how to set this up. And like, it literally saved me so much time on just how to set up a project. And so
Yeah, it's
that's
helping.
amazing.
It's,
Yeah.
that's to help us to evolve faster.
Yeah, or
Right.
just, and a lot of it is, can I save myself time? So I'm trying to learn another language so I can build an email marketing product for myself to save me time so I don't have to do it or pay someone else to do it for me.
Yeah.
So if I can build it for myself, then it's going to save me time and money in the future. That's worth it to me, you know? So
But what about the robots? Are you on board with
it
that?
doesn't scare me.
No?
I mean, there's a lot of worse things out there that do scare me. The robots do not.
Serious? I'm scared now.
I mean,
I hope they don't learn jiu-jitsu.
No, please don't learn jiu-jitsu. And we tell them this is the last job they
okay,
get.
so what if the
I'm like,
robot
hey,
learn-
you know they teaching jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, okay, so that's something.
And I'm
What
done.
if they try to take your teaching job? 'Cause
That's
they're like-
right. And
Even
now
if
we
he
got
tried to
podcast.
fight with me,
Hey, what about, can they take the podcast?
how will you choke a robot?
You have to disconnect.
There's no way. Disconnect the wire, but how?
Get
How
on
do we
its back.
get there?
You have to be on its back.
Got arm dragging here.
You gotta program
Beating
it
bolo,
not
take
to,
the back here.
slam you against the.
The wall. Or
Hey,
on the
what
floor.
about another thing
Man, that conversation goes so crazy.
Let's
Look.
go- back to this. I think you're more. I don't know if you're like they talk that it's potentially for us to be also in a virtual reality and not knowing. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
That one I don't believe.
Crazy, right? But
That
they
would be, yeah.
they
I mean,
people say that's more. It's more possible for us to be in a virtual reality than not.
now it sounds like
Looking
we're
crazy. Like
there's movies like that, like Inception.
Cons-
and,
Dream. There's like one with Leonardo DiCaprio or something like that.
yeah.
That he's in a dream and he gets kicked to another dream. Or the orange.
Oh, I don't remember this one, but it sounds.
He gets
Yeah.
kicked to
Origin.
another dream.
Origin, yeah.
Origin, the orange. It's kind of similar too, but like
Yeah, I saw another one about like a apocalyptic movie, and the guy just wants to live in like his memories. He doesn't want to live in the present, so he's in one of those virtual reality. And
reality.
he's like, he never wants to leave because it's just like he's living out his
a
past.
different. He's living the way he would.
He wants to.
I'm
see-
more
Like,
interested in the
he's creating
future,
his-
whatever the past, the
He's
past, the past.
He's
The guy's
creating his
crazy.
own like
Yeah. Well,
way of
and
living.
he's reliving it over and over.
He
again
keep
instead
reliving what he
instead
lived
of
already.
Living again in the future, yeah.
That's-
And so it's like him, the other character, the other one goes and has a family, and
There's
like,
so many ways we can go to with like technology, right? Like we have the AR, AI, then we have the virtual
virtual reality,
reality.
You guys play with that before?
Yeah.
I did it once, like a boxing.
It's real.
It was like a boxing, like it's like, man,
Really?
I'm fighting here. A boxing game. I tried.
I did
once.
one that was like a scary one, and like scary creatures come out and like scare you. It was the coolest thing. It was the most frightening.
Did you feel like you were there?
Yes, because it's all around you, and then like the ghosts or like skeletons pop out. It was, and I'm screaming.
Like, ah.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it was really fun. I like being scared. I like scary movies, but it's frightening. It's like clowns. It was clowns. I don't know if
Are you
everybody
scared
likes
of
clowns.
clowns?
No, but like it's when they're scary,
Clowns,
they're
you mean
creepy.
the
Like it.
Yeah,
You know,
clowns.
yeah. So
Payaso.
when they're a
Payaso.
scary version of clowns, like
I see.
it.
It's scared.
It's kind of,
I've seen some pranks where like
O cara tá aí já, né, mano?
I see some pranks where the guys come with like a clown like that. And they're coming at people and like people like freaking out and running.
yeah.
It's like, I have a funny story that my first birthday is like a Klaus thanks, but my mom say I like it on the TV or whatever, but on the pot I just should cry all day. And she's like, okay, you don't like Klaus. Vamos finalizar?
There's so many stories. We have been talking so much here about so many different things, and it's
Yeah.
good to know.
Sorry,
I can
we
share.
totally went
Hey,
off on
but
random
that's how
stuff.
we do it. That's
Yeah.
how we do it.
Like that's what I like.
I think
Yeah.
that's the
Doing
best
it.
part. You know, to read actually. I can
Yeah, get to
Talk
know
about
other people.
anything.
Yeah, especially because you're with your teammates. You talk about jiu-jitsu all the time. Sometimes you don't know what else they do in their life, and so it's nice to hear from other people and see what else is in their life. And
something maybe
Sure.
like some things you're sharing with us here they never heard from you. You know, like many of the guests like, man, I never told this to anybody. You know, which is like
Yeah.
interesting. And
yeah,
Amanda, thank you so much for
thanks
joining
for
us
having
today.
me. It's
Hey,
my
that was a
pleasure.
great
Thank
podcast.
you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Hey, you gotta teach us like when we're ready to do like the
Yeah.
non-profit project.
Definitely
definitely
reach back
shall.
out to me, and help you brainstorm on some ideas.
That'll be really cool. And one thing is that this is for you, okay? These are yours.
Thank you.
So that means every season we're gonna have a different one.
Okay.
So
That means
it's
we
a
can. You
collection.
should come back.
So after this
Oh, the
season,
originals, huh?
we're gonna have another one, and
Those
you
are
have to
the-
come back.
Okay. Yeah. Thank
To
you.
get your
That'd be great.
collection.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us again for another episode. Man, great.
Shout
great
out for the
talking.
sponsors again, Brave and Roll Live.
Brave
Thank you
and
so
Roll
much.
Live. Thank you so much for supporting. We're also open for more people more companies to sponsor the podcast and opportunities to sponsor the tournament as well. If you guys are interested in sponsor us, be with us on the podcast. Maybe have your QR code on your from your company as well. Reach out to us at professionaljujitsu@gmail.com. Say that you want to be part of PBJJF podcast, that you love watching JP and Max and all the guests and their stories. And make sure you share this content, guys, to everybody. Make sure you like, share, tell people if you like jiu-jitsu.
Subscribe on the channel.
Subscribe to the channel. That's important. Don't forget to subscribe. A lot of people are watching there. They forget to subscribe, but make sure you subscribe and click the bell notification button. And we'll see you guys soon.
Ossa. Let's go. Bye bye, guys.
Sorry, before that, Amanda, you wanna give a shout out to anybody? Just
It's your time.
your
Shout
team.
out to my team. Yeah, Crazy 88 and